Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Friday, March the 3rd, 2017. It's the end of a week. Yay! Friday, yay! My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. Our hypotheses are our four main trade plans that we put in place depending on how the market reacts, and then we wait for the market to open up in the RTH session, show us who's control and what plan best fits the market, and then we execute on that plan. That way we do not have to think about it. We're not trying to predict the market. We're trying to have a plan in place for whatever the market throws at us. And that's very important for people to understand that we're not trying to hedge ourselves for every opportunity. What we're trying to do is prepare ourselves for every opportunity so that we don't have to think about it and we have a plan in place already to go. Okay, so let's get the news out of the way right away. Well, also, excuse me, let me just get the disclaimer out of the way. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, I was having problems yesterday with my go-to and was not able to do a pre-market session yesterday. But my plan, my main hypothesis yesterday was an open auction in range, a move up to the 96.50, find responsive buyers, and then rotate us down towards that gap, okay, and come down towards that 74 and a quarter to fill that gap. Well, they drove it. Basically, it wasn't quite a drive. It was still an open auction, but it was a driving open auction. They pushed it down. They failed to get back above the prior day midpoint. Then we had that beautiful 8 3/4 point sell-off. This put us looking short, looking for the rotation back into the midpoint to short again. They did not put in a continuation. They actually put in a higher fractal low, and then we sort of went sideways, and then we tried the mid again, failed on the mid again, and then they went down and they challenged the low of the prior day and came down here and tested the 78 and just had a little bit of a rally into the close. Seems to be how we keep closing. The key here is that we have broken the low of the prior day. So we've tested below. We're going to have a lower fractal low, and the VPOC shift, the point of control, shifted down, to the low of the day. When you have that happen, the context is you're looking for continuation into the Globex. And of course, if we go over to the Globex, you can see that we opened up and we immediately went down and tested the low on the day. They tried to buy it back up and hold it inside. Failed to get back to the VPOC. Failed at the VWAP. Pushed down. Put in a weak low here. It's only a one tick low, but then they failed and they came all the way down and they came right down to the midpoint of the gap zone. The midpoint of the range gap is 74 and a quarter, and they came down here and then they chopped around in this area, and then Europe opened up. And again, I want to show you this, that we've had a lot of OTF participation in the European session right now, which means it generally leads to expansion during the day. You can see, at 3 o'clock, that's when the volume got heavy, and you had OTF participation, and they tried to rally it back up. We got up into the 80 area, 2 ticks below the, 3 ticks below the the VPOC from yesterday, and so far we've sold. So we've created a double distribution, waiting to see if we get a VPOC shift. We could get a VPOC shift, Globex VPOC shift up to 77.75. We still have lots of time to do it, but we got double distribution, and so far the VPOC is still near the lows. So values coming down. We have created a LVN right here at this 76.50, 76.75. Pay attention to that. That's going to be an over-under line for us today. It's below the prior day low, and it separates the double distribution for a move down into the 74. Taking a look at the news, we do have some news this morning. We got 9:45, we've got final services PMI, then we've got the ISM non-manufacturing PMI. So we got 2 news releases within the first 30 minutes, and then all the fun is going to start because from there we get a lot of Fed speak. Okay, we've got Evans speaking, we've got Powell speaking, and then we've got the big one at 1 o'clock at with Yellen speaking. She's speaking at where's she speaking? She's speaking at Chicago, isn't she? The U.S. Economic Outlook at Executives Club of Chicago. So yeah. So this could lead to some fireworks this afternoon with whatever she says. So again, there's a high probability they're talking about of having a Fed increase this month in March, and this could set the market off. So be careful today. Okay. In fact, if you're struggling at all and you can make your money, in the morning, take the afternoon off once these speakers start talking, because the market could get very volatile. Okay, so one of the things I like to do is I like to start my day with a simple candlestick chart. The other thing, somebody asked me about this, and I'm just going to clear this up because I'm tired of answering this question. Yes, the charts that you're seeing is in my Toss Paper Money. They are real time, okay, but my trading computer is completely isolated. I use these charts for homework and for display for the room only. I do not trade through here. I trade through my own. I don't trade futures through Toss very often. I do some gold through there, but my main accounts are separate, and I do have multiple accounts. Anyway, I like to look at the macro and the micro to see where we are within the trend. I use a 9 EMA and a 20 SMA. I'm looking for slope and separation for the strength of the trend, where the trend is being challenged or violated, or a change in trend. On the larger time frame, long-term upward trend challenge at the end of 15, beginning of 16, we get the continuation pattern. We put in a new all-time high and possibly an island top. We're going to talk about that in a minute up here at 2401. In testing that 24. As we talked about this in the beginning of the week, we talked about the probability with the compression that we saw, a major breakout and a strong move in one direction, and it was to the upside, and we did hit that 2400 as we had proposed earlier this week. Good solid slope and separation, so the trend is still very up. We don't even begin to challenge the trend on the longer time frame until we get down into the 2240s. So still, a very strong move up in the monthly. On the weekly, same thing. Good slope, good separation. Price has been paralleling the 9 nicely. Got a little bit of a pull off here. A pull away, creating a technical gap against the 9 EMA. That gap doesn't get closed until we get down into the 2320 area is where I'm looking, around that 22 to 27 area. But good slope, good separation trend is up on the weekly. On the daily, okay, we've now had a FUBAR, Mr. Sneaky on the daily, and we put in an inside day yesterday, and then of course in the Globex we've broken the low of that day, and we're going to have one-time framing completed or violated, and we're coming down to test the 9 EMA. Keep an eye on the 2368.50 area down to the 2360.50, and I'd be watching this area right here for a possibility of a trend change and a failure to hold this resort this support and get back down into some of the lower structure and start filling some of these gaps. As we move down to the 4-hour, you can see that we did roll over in the Globex the other day. We continued yesterday, and now in the Globex we got further continuation, although they have rallied it back up, and we're testing the 9 and the 20 from below. We're getting an MA hug, MA squeeze, whatever you want to call it, and this is a determination point where we either break back up and get the continuation, or we fail from here and get the move further down into some of those gap fills. Going to the 1 hour, you can see that we did have a nice strong trend, good slope and separation to the downside. Now they rallied it up, and we're back above the 9 and the 20 with a MA squeeze, MA hug. Again, this is decision point, but we are holding above the 9 and the 20. Possible change of trend up. Watch for failure below the 23.77.75 area. Going to the 30-minute, you can see that we do have the start of a possible trend. We don't have slope, but we do have separation, and they're holding above the 9 and the 20. They tested it a couple times, and they've bounced, so we could get a continuation move back up. Then moving down to the 15-minute, you can see that they started to accelerate it. They rolled it over, came back and tested the 20, and now popped back up, and this is generally a continuation pattern up. Looking at the 5-minute, you can see that this is more consolidation than a change in trend. We've got a very weak low down here at the 76.75 area, 77 call it. So watch. If we break there, then I'd be looking for the bigger move down into that 74.25. Okay, taking a look at the structure. So we had long-term price acceptance here. We created a VPOC around the 64.50. They popped up, created the island top, 3-day balance in around the 89. They fell back. This should have a profile on it. I don't know why it doesn't. Created 3-day balance, testing the most fair price before the breakout. They come back down there, then they accept value higher. They gap back up. They accept that 89 a second time, and then we go into price discovery. Gap up, price discovery, gap up, price discovery. 2-day balance around the 22, and continuation. Accept price higher in around the 41. Gap up again. Spend 6 days. Create price acceptance around the 62.50. Okay, accept that price, and then we gap up, and now we have a 2-day. Now, very important to note that if you were watching this yesterday, when we started the 2 days, even though we had 2-day volume, the VPOC was still up in the 95 area. It only shifted down on the microcomposite. The 2-day microcomposite VPOC is now 81. Okay, we have to get above that if we're going to get a move back into yesterday's upper distribution, but there is weakness coming in, and we have this gap to be filled down here with the mid gap of the range at 74.25, and the gap against the close down at 72. So let's just take a look at our overnight, start putting our numbers in. Our overnight high, 82. Our overnight low, 73.75. And we have a double distribution with the, now currently the VPOC is still below us at the 75, but that could change. And I have to put it in right now. We have 27 minutes to go, so we could get a shift. And then we have this LVN at 76.75, so I can't use the low of the day. I have to use the 76.75 as my trade area, because you know, we could dip down below the the low of the prior day and then fail off of the 76.75. I want to see them either bounce from here or break through, and if they break through, I'm looking for a move down into the overnight low and back into this gap. In terms of daily full session ATR, I watch the 20-period daily ATR. Currently, it's running at 15.89 points. So off of the low overnight, our upside daily ATR target is up at 89.75, and off of the high overnight, our downside daily ATR target is 66.25. So we have room to come down and take out these naked VPOCs and come challenge and close the gap that's still there down to the 76. So just note that we do have range capabilities. We're currently trading right at the edge of the prior day range. There's a couple things we've got to pay attention to. Our open of the week was 2362.75 with 1 day left in the week. Our weekly critical mass sits right here at 78.75 where we're trading right now. If we get above and accept this 80.75 and get above this 82, the overnight high, I'm also going to put a trade level here, because if we get above the 82, I'm looking for them most of the day yesterday. Our VPOC was up here at 85, so I'm going to be targeting this 85 and a move to the midpoint from yesterday. Above there's the 87.50, and that takes us outside of value, and then I'd be looking for continuation up towards that 93 area and a challenge. Anything above 93, I think that will come and close this naked VPOC up here at 96.50. Take note that we do have targets above, not just below. So don't get your don't get your short hat on. I'm expecting fireworks this afternoon, so I'm thinking we're going to see a fairly decent move this morning, and then we're going to go sideways until Yellen speaking. So what is my hypothesis? Well, we have broken the one-time framing. We have tested the mid of the gap in the Globex. So I'm looking for an open auction just inside a range or just outside a range, but I'm looking for them to try to rally this back up, and then somewhere between 80.75 and 82, possibly even a push into the 85, but I'm looking for responsive sellers to step in up here and bring us back down and come down and close these gaps and target the 68.75. My main target below is going to be the overnight low at 73.75, and then these continuation down to the half gap of the close and the takeout of the naked VPOC, naked close, and a test of the range high from the Wednesday session. I'm sorry, Tuesday session, right? This is Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday's session high up at 71. So the main hypo is move up, find sellers, rotate down, and come down towards that 74, maybe even push through down to 68.75 area. Hypo 2 is a failure to take out the overnight low. We come down somewhere between 76 and 74.25. We bounce and we find responsive buyers, and they take us up into the 80 to 82 area. We chop around in there, and then we push up into the 85 and chop around here until we get into news, and then depending on what Yellen says, a push up into the 90s and a close up in the 90s, or a failure and a push down. Again, everything's premise up to the news, because news can revalue the market very quickly, especially with Yellen speaking. Hypo 3 is a open test drive, failure to get into the value or just inside of the value, but strong selling coming in, pushing us right down into the mid of the gap, chopping around inside of this gap, okay, and then getting a late day probe down towards the 62.75 area, a little bit of an expansion to the downside, and a move back to the open of the week. Remember that the open of the week is 62.75. So I'm going to put that in there so that we know that, and it's sitting right on top of that, sitting right on top of the naked VPOC. Okay, and I can bring this to the front too. All right, so that's hypo 3, and then hypo 4 is failure to break below the 74, a strong push up into the 85, chop in the 85, and then push up and come up and challenge the 2400 and close just inside the 2400, if not going and completing the rule of 10 up to 2410 and getting a continuation trend day. That's the lower likelihood. Seeing the weakness that's coming in and the amount of repair that we have to do, and just this could very easily turn out to be the blow off top. We don't, I would say it could easily be the intermediate blow off top. I don't think it's the high yet. Let's take a quick look at gold. Gold has come back. We talked about this move back down. If we didn't hold that 35 area, the move down to the 28 area, 26 area, we've got to hold the 2340 area. Anything below the 2340, we're going to get sucked into this long-term price acceptance. This is the composite VPOC going all the way back to October the 24th, 2008, meaning it's the most traded price in gold for a very long time, and we will get sucked back down there if we go into price discovery for buyers. We have been coming back down. We've got a $39 move down on gold. So, we should balance out here, but watch for failure, okay, at this 23, 24 area for continuation lower. If we can get back above the 36, we come up and accept that 35, 36 area, look for them to come up into the 40 area, maybe 42, but I'm not expecting much more than that today. Really expecting gold to chop between the 28 and the 40 area today, possibly even dip down to test the lower side of value here at the 2340. So that's going to complete our pre-market session. Sorry it took a little bit longer. Lots to talk about with these moves. Currently trading 79 and a quarter. Let's see if we got a VPOC shift. We did get a VPOC shift. So our Globex VPOC has shifted up to 79 and a quarter. So we're right at our overnight price acceptance. Watch the 76.75 area for a warning line over under. Under this, I want to be short. Over this, I want to be looking for opportunities to get long. Okay, that's going to complete it. Have a good day. Trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.